Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, our friends, Hearts Home family. Hopefully, EEARTS and Evolutionary Energy Arts family as well are listening into this one.
Indeed. Happy day, everyone. Hi.
So, Cindy's been getting contact with one of the star children. If you see here on EEARTS, you have right here message from the star children. This is there's two videos that we did on this. This one, a message from 2055 about the Earth's future and what is just ahead. I think this was more like a year ago. YouTube showing it 9 months ago. And then this one, message from the star children of Earth's future, life outside the control matrix. As well as changes, big changes. There are huge changes underway. So one of the star children we've been in contact with, and we've been gathering some information, and this comes through both channeling pretty much trance and mostly channeling without going into full trance. And so when you see the Schumann here, 62-hour blackout period, the reason why they don't want you seeing and understanding this is because, there is an event coming which is enormous, and it's up to us to really cultivate our spiritual energy. We do have to be aware, obviously, of bullets that might be flying overhead, bombs that could be dropping. Again, if you're on train tracks, you don't just sit down and ignore the sound of the train rolling towards you. You got to get out of the way. Yet at the same time, the reality is the reason that train is barreling down the tracks, the reason why, the number one reason why the clouds in the sky, the fake clouds, are where they are, and they're blocking out from the light from the sun, and everything that you see going on with WW3 brewing, etc., all the plagues, the pestilence, and everything, is because there is a natural event that's underway, and there's parts of that natural event that are going to hit. And everything is going to be changed for those that stay organic. It's not about, having a certain human dogma that's been created well after the fact. Again, dogma's not going to do anything if our own frequencies are very low. If we are laden with nanotechnology, if we are laden with emotions of a negative variety that we cannot purge ourselves of, if we can't see the bigger picture and realize the oneness of all things, the dogma doesn't do anything but, basically it's like a rope around your neck with a weighted stone that's been thrown overboard.
It is. And that's just, a very honest, straightforward way to look at things when it comes to dogma and what they have done with us and our belief system, using it to control us in so many ways. But yes, I have been in contact with a beautiful soul. His name is Malachi. He's one of the star children. He's a little bit of a rebel because the star children were advised not to reach out to us the way that they have been. Just because they know what their abilities can do doesn't mean that they are supposed to do this. But Malachi feels differently. He does go to a place and he sits and he still tries to contact us. Yeah. And he does contact.
And one of the things I want to get across is just to show you how different things are. So what Malachi and the ones that are with him, or he is with a group of humans that have decided to say no to the system. They live simply. They live in a very, very symbiotic way with Earth itself. And, he's a big, strong, athletic young man. What does he spend most of his time doing? Meditating. Right. And, this is where our priorities are so different, and our indoctrinations made it so that we would be viewed as, you're kind of strange. Well, they're very spiritually inclined. They spend most of the day out there in the woods meditating. Now that seems so strange to our society right here, right now. But that's because our society right here, right now keeps us consumed with things that don't promote spiritual growth.
Things that really honestly don't matter. Just putting it blatantly, things that just do not matter. If you are not feeding your soul in some way, shape, or form, it's, to me, it's not important. But that doesn't mean that I don't have things that I have to do that don't necessarily feed my soul. I have responsibilities. This is the 3D world that I decided to incarnate in. So yes, I'm doing all the things that it takes to be in the 3D, but preferably I like to do things that feed my soul. Like I like to play with my babies, play with my puppies. I do enjoy being out in nature. Things of this nature feed your soul. I mean, that's what I'd rather do. I think a lot of people would be that way if they could. If they could, they'd want to do that. So Malachi's been reaching out in an effort to try to explain, shed some light on, and I'm going to do my best to bring this information forward. And I'm going to tell you now, a lot of it scientifically, it's not going to fit in the box that we've been given. So I'll say that now. And again, when you're getting channeled information, it's like you can't, and somebody wants an explanation, well, then why, You're not going to get it because you're limited with vocabulary words. You're limited with information that we have been given in this 3D realm.
Yeah, as we look at this, we see just, this is from today recently. You can see we're going to be getting hit by very strong solar winds. Now, this happens, but everything is changing now. This is the rub, so to speak. We are in a period of rapid change in the bigger scheme of things, and yet it still does take time. The change is a natural one. We talked about Peter Dunev, and I could end up pulling up a million different links and overwhelming this with all sorts of different information from different places. But he talked about a galactic superwave. I think it was 38 years before scientists actually came up with the term galactic superwave. Peter Dunev practiced a form of Qigong, which was something that just came from his inner being. He just knew this from past lives. He was, again, a very, very amazing soul, an advanced soul coming to Earth to try to help Earth make it through these times. In effect, there are what we call star seeds out there, many, many star seeds. And, the star seeds might find it frustrating talking to the younger souls that have only experienced this planet. They haven't experienced life on other planets. They don't really have that inner knowing that what we're taught is just completely wrong and full of lies. It's part of our job, and what we come here to do is to awaken humanity to what it is. And in the golden ages and also in the silver, this is done openly. And it's taught to humanity openly by ETs. It won't be long before there are groups of positive ETs that are also going to be interacting with those that stay out of the system and teaching them these secrets, so to speak, that have only been taught and whispered, in dark shadows and corners for fear of the end of your life. If you talk about these things openly, in the West, we understand people have been, burnt for being witches and et cetera, et cetera. There's been the extermination of whole groups of people that had very strong traditions sharing golden age and silver age knowledge. It's through the sun primarily that the changes are going to be coming. It is bigger than just our solar system as well. We are shifting again out of a control grid, but not all will shift, because some are going to be bogged down with the technologies, with the frequencies, with the lower vibrations, and we'll end up going through more than likely, many, many, many more incarnations, similar to the ones that we're in right now. As you see solar activity at moderate levels, we see these filaments, like this one's not Earth-facing. Yet again, it still does influence us. This is what the guides have said. It doesn't have to be directly impacting us. It can still influence us. So the information that Malachi has brought, as well as other guides, because this is, again, what makes us a little different from most of these sources, unless they're another channeled source, is that, we'll look at what other sources of information have out there. We'll look through the history, we'll look through different traditions, and we'll look at the science very suspiciously, but always keeping an eye open for a new possible way to entrap our minds. At the same time, we will weigh it against what we've gotten from the guides and what we know just internally. As again, Cindy and I have both had connection to non-physical beings our entire lives. And that's just because of past lives, and it is because we're starseeds. We didn't first incarnate here. We came here, as we've shared with you guys before, when Aset, the one known as Isis, first came to the planet in the Golden Age. We came with them. And so here's Genesis 1, 6 through 8. Now again, and this is from the Complete Jewish Bible, you could look for different translations. There's more deception in the Bible than there is clarity of golden nuggets of wisdom, unfortunately. But it's to be expected. But there are some nuggets in there too. And this is one that's caused a lot of contention. Again, God said, let there be a dome in the middle of the water. Let it divide the water from the water. God made the dome and divided the water under the dome from the water above the dome. That was how it was. And God called the dome sky. So there was evening and morning, a second day. Yeah, so this is where people get the flat earth from. And it is also where they get this concept of an impenetrable dome, and there's no life anywhere. Yet it doesn't say that. And clearly, when you look at translations that use the word Elohim, mighty ones, gods, literally, in the plural, it's talking about beings that are not from Earth. And this, by the way, was curious because this I just found. It is an older article. Scientists find a huge Star Trek-esque invisible dome around Earth. Now we know about the radiation belts, the Van Allen belts. There are those that think you can't go past that because life won't be able to exist out past it. But the reality is we can, and the reality is right now people can leave the planet anytime. Some people can, and certainly yogis and monks do all the time, and that's what Malachi does. He goes into a meditative state, and he goes and sends his consciousness away from the planet, and he could send it through time as well. This is just part of what humans can do in the silver and golden ages. Absolutely, we could do amazing things. Now think about the amazing things that you might have seen some Buddhist monks doing, some incredible acts of agility and skill, breaking swords across their backs, things like that. Again, what's amazing in this age is just child's play in the ages to come. And we can't even conceive, really, of what we can do in the ages to come. So, this is again talking about the Earth appearing to be surrounded by an invisible dome, extending well over 7,200 miles above the Earth's surface. Now, what we've gotten from Malachi is interesting because this is the Bhumandala, and this is displaying our universe. And some have said again, looking at it, that everything is flat. Here's the Earth and stuff, but you can see there it's in a sphere, as we are in a sphere. This is the thing to recognize. as you look at, again, above, as above, so below is kind of it's your thing to ring truth out. Because if something is accurate, it's going to reflect that fundamental nature of our universe. And that is that everything is kind of a fractal. A fractal is where everything is a reflection of the whole, as we are a reflection of the whole. Yeah, every single human is a universe. Your body is a universe teeming with trillions of life forms. And here, when we look into one single cell, because again, the universe is one single cell, you see a membrane that does separate the cell itself, anything inside intracellular space, from that which is outside. That's it in a nutshell. That's so simple. And that is what we have with our planet. Selective permeable. There's selective permeability to our atmosphere. Yeah, our atmosphere lets certain things in, and it doesn't let other things in. And that's to maintain the integrity of the life within it. Again, we're not just created by randomness. No, there is a creator of this universe. There is a source of all things. And that is absolutely a beautiful thing, because the creator of this universe and the source of all things are so loving and benevolent. And this is all for us. And this is what the guides are always saying. This is all for you. This is all for you to have this experience. So, no, the earth is not flat, just like cells are not flat. They are basically spherical. The space that we see out there, though, is more like a liquid than a void. It is not a void. It's full of life. It's teeming with life. If you want to think of Earth as this spherical cell floating about in an ocean of life, that is the reality. Again, a single cell has intracellular fluid, and then there's the space in between the cells, the interstitial. And this is exactly what we have. We see this depicted with Vishnu dreaming worlds into existence. Well, those worlds aren't flat. They're spheres. And so this is an ancient picture just depicting that. And yes, this is all in a way a dream, because this is all about consciousness exploring different realities. And it's reflected again in so many things, from walking the labyrinth, which is something that you can do in many places. But then look at the microcosm and look at our computer chips, how they reflect that. There's a reason why these things work. And, again, there's a reason why there's a frequency involved in all this naturally. So what's going to happen? Well, again, if we look to these different worlds that are being dreamt, there is going to be a consciousness event that's going to be triggered by the sun, as well as other galactic energetic forces that are going to enable the souls that are of higher frequency and vibration to experience a new reality.
So one question that I've always had for a very long time is about the separation of energies, and how does that occur? Because it's very mysterious. I can see it in a way in 3D, where many people are being separated by their belief systems. Many people are being separated because, like, emotionally, physically, they're not compatible. People may have had friends for a lifetime, and then all of a sudden something changes in your life, and it's like this friend that was your friend for a lifetime, it's not that you don't like them, you just have nothing in common anymore. But honestly, what's going on is our vibrations are changing, our frequencies are changing. We're being called to another place, especially those who feel the need to be organic. They feel a need to be part of the earth. We do have a conversation going on between the sun, between the earth, And this is going to create a type of event where, as the earth and sun communicate, there will be a permeable situation where the sun does break through. At that point, the solution that is in that place that we call outer space, it's like between air and water. It's difficult for me to explain.
No, but she's doing a good job of that. The thing to realize is that there is an artificial component to the so-called dome. And that's the key. We are kind of in a grid, an AI technological grid that has been created around the planet in order to keep frequencies out, benevolent frequencies. This is a major component in why we don't live that long. And this is also a major component in why we don't have the abilities that we have in other ages. So this artificial grid structure is going to be cracked, so to speak.
It will eventually, one way or another, it will be cracked, because just think of a dandelion. You can lay pavement over over a dandelion seed, and it just takes a matter of time before that dandelion is going to make a crack in the pavement. It's going to make its way through. Nature always finds a way, and that's the one of the things in my core that I never forget is nature finds a way. And this is something of nature. It's something that happens. Evolution is just, it's very common. So when this solution is able to, as the sun and earth are talking to each other, it is like labor pains where the communication gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Eventually, this false dome that is around the earth that keeps out benevolent energies, it will crack. At that point, this energy comes in from what we call outer space, and it's going to change our bodies. It's going to bring us to a place that is more compatible as we evolve. And it's like we're going to be in a position where we're going to be able to see out. So we'll be able to see the cell cities. We'll be able to see other things that are going on in 3D Earth, but we're not going to be in that I don't know which words to use, dimension, paradigm. We're just simply not going to be there. We're going to be compatible with another area, yet still on Earth. And that's the best way that I can explain it from the information that Malachi gave us, because he understands the unlimited in vocabulary words too.
Well, again, it looked to the cell cities and the word that they called cell. So, again, they'll be creating energetic domes around these cities to block off the energies. This is why they spray every single day. But this will be going to a new extent. And the people that are outside of the cell cities are noticing that they're living longer, much longer lives. They're much healthier. They're not suffering from all the maladies that the people in the cell cities are suffering from. And so there is this split, and just like with Bigfoot or your beings of myths and legends, that every culture has jotted down that they, remember a time when they used to, see these things. Well, they're on a different density, and so those that stay outside will be on a different density. And so, even even the Anunnaki themselves, when they're here, if they're looking out, they won't necessarily see those that have stayed natural, because they're going to be up past where they can see, because they're stuck in basically the hellish realms. They're stuck in the lower fourth density, and they can't see past that.
No, and that's by choice. So we have a choice as well. We have a choice. We have decisions to make, and timelines. It's happening. Is it going to happen in this lifetime? That's difficult to say, but we do watch the sun. We do keep an eye on cosmic weather, and we feel pulled to do that. I don't know how many of you guys check the cosmic weather, but there's something in your soul telling you to do that for a reason.
Well, there's also reasons why we have all these different numbers, the DEAGL numbers. We have all these different agendas, the numbers like 2030. Now, to the best of their estimate, the Star Children thought that they were communicating to us from 2055. they're in a different density now. So time and everything has just totally shifted for them. But they do remember, the way they put it was the giants started to appear, taking control of the cell cities around 2035 directly. So again, we're almost in 2024, so about another 11 years. And then you have the Anunnaki here directly taking control from the humans, so to speak. And, again, the reason why they want to herd them into the cell cities is because, again, they'll put more energetic grids there. They won't be able to hold on to the whole planet, but again, they only need a certain number energetically to keep their operations going.
They're very calculated beings. This is how they operate. This is your math you learn in school. This is your science. All of this is their information that they've created their world around. And it's just something that where I'm at in this world and where Mike's at in this world, it just doesn't fit into our reality and what we know to be true, but they're going to maintain that. And that's up to them. This is their journey. If they choose to stay in that realm, as long as they want to, well, then that's what they do. I don't want to. I'm gonna do something different. I wish to experience my life as a free being and have my experience be something that is full of growth and love and understanding and development and expansion.
So you can see again, like the concept of the rapture, for instance, where people go missing. This is a way they can explain it away. They can always say too that they lifted people off planet because there was people that wanted to go off planet. Again, they will be letting us know that we're not alone. They will be showing extraterrestrials openly. This is all part of the plans that are in store for after the war period. The key for us, and this is where the key really is don't be caught up in the hatred, don't be caught up in the drama, because you don't want to lower your frequencies. This is why we recommend getting outside of the cities, getting outside of the control grid. Because again, if you're right next to something that's emitting massive amounts of radiation, as much as you try to detox, you're still being bathed in it. Now, right now, until that crack happens and until we are flooded with the cosmic prana, we have to do our best to just try to, limit our exposure and keep working on detoxing ourselves in every way. Again, picking up the sword, so to speak, is never going to advance your spiritual growth, because again, when we damage others, when we harm others, we're harming ourselves and we're holding ourselves back from that oneness. Yet again, if somebody is coming after you and your family, you got to do what you got to do. That's a little bit different, but actively taking up arms and getting riled up and saying, off we go, we're marching to war, Christian soldiers, or we're marching off to jihad. No, those things just lower frequency.
Mm-hmm. And when you are helping other souls, you're helping, feeding pets that are hungry, you're helping souls who truly need it. In fact, you are feeding your own soul, and you're growing your own, you're developing yourself as you give of yourself. But also there's a level of having to give back to yourself too. So it's not, you don't always want to be in a position where you're giving yourself away. But keep in mind, when you do feed a hungry animal, when you do help a person who is hungry in dire straits, you are helping yourself. Just don't forget about feeding yourself too.
Absolutely. So, I hope you guys got something out of this. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we needed to cover? Because again, those that stay outside of the system will ascend up and again, won't be able to be seen by those in the system. And, there's going to be this complete split between that is going naturally and that becomes part of the Borg. if you have done anything that you wish you hadn't done, if you guys understand, ouch. I hope that doesn't get us anything there. If there is a true will, there is a way. And so, the guides had said early on when we were talking about the thing upon the land, that horrible plague, etc., that on the higher densities, we have had filters put into our energy systems. Those that are on the ascension path, starseed light workers, that have purposely come here to help awaken the rest of humanity. So, it's if you're really trying, you can overcome. It's again part of the bigger picture here, and so you can overcome. Of course, you don't want to. Certainly, you don't want to make things more difficult. And making things more difficult is exactly what they're trying to get everybody to do.
Right. They want somebody on something that is going to hamper them developmentally. They want everybody on something that's going to change or alter your frequency. So getting back to nature, getting back to basics, very, very important. Do what it takes to heal your soul, because if we're holding on and harboring anger, resentment, things of that nature, that's a frequency inside of us which could affect us. So it's all about healing right now. And once we heal ourselves, then we're able to heal the earth, and then we're able to blend in and go to a different area. And again, that's the best way. It's the best information that I've been given to help people understand. I know there's going to be a separation of energies. It's I don't know if it's going to be in this lifetime, but it's happening now.
And again, that depends on the person too, because our lives obviously are dependent on many different factors. And, I do think, again, you will have people like little kids that are born and able to stay natural now. Who knows what their life expectancy could be? I mean, seriously, it could be absolutely mind-blowing. Even in the darkest of the Kali Yuga, I do believe there were individuals that lived for hundreds of years, and possibly same type of age as we saw with Methuselah and those biblical patriarchs. So in the age to come, yeah, absolutely. Well, if we just simply go by what we see in the Hindu holy books, then you can expect a 4-digit life shortly ahead. That's huge. And in the golden age, people, when they decide to leave the body, they just lie down, and it's like they go to sleep and they just leave the body because they're done with this experience. They want something new. It's just that simple. It's not traumatic. It's not violent. It's very, very natural. So I hope this answers some questions. Again, one thing I wanted to just touch on too is, when they talked about it, and you look to that biblical quote about the waters, do fish know that they're in water? Do fish know that they're in water? I mean, that's all they know. If you take your arm, move your arm through the air relatively quick, do you feel the resistance? And then you can remember maybe the last time you were swimming. Well, space is a little bit less dense, so to speak, than our air. Yet it's another sort of density, different than the ocean, which obviously is very, very viscous, and we could say it's not as viscous as far as the air goes. But at the same time, there's always been these clues, like viruses and bacteria are always entering the planet from space. And if you've ever seen any of these strange, looking things, worm, serpent, creatures in the sky and stuff, and they appear to be swimming in the sky. Again, it's all relative to our own density. Last night, again, I was astral projecting, and it's like my favorite thing to do is I get such a kick out of getting out of the body and flying, because it feels wonderful. Well, that's what we do most of the time. We think with I always kind of center it in the pineal gland, can think of a place and then go there and feel myself flying, leaving the body. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing. So Malachi, again, feels like he's somewhere around 16 to 18. He does seem to be a giant, by the way, not a malevolent giant, because we are giants when we get out of this age, because there's so much more oxygen, prana, life force coming in to nourish us. It's been artificially restrained from us. And that's all going to change. So again, it's just a matter of making it through these times organic.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.